Hey guys, it's Kelly and welcome back to my channel. Today is so exciting because check out what's behind me. It's the 2024 brand new Chevy Traverse. Now, I was able to go to Detroit and get the very first look at it, and ever since then I have been dying to play with the car seat setup, and that's exactly what I did today. If this is your first time joining me, hey, I'm Kelly and I'm the car mom. I review cars for moms and for families. I'm a mom of 3, almost 4, and I'm a certified child passenger safety tech. All right, let's get started. This car has been so anticipated, and for good reasons. The upgrades that Chevy made in this Traverse are so good, and this might be one of my new favorite mid-size SUVs for a lot of reasons, which I'll get into. But first of all, just look at the exterior. Now, this is the RS trim level, and I love the sportiness of it. I love that it looks like a baby Tahoe, which is already such a good looking SUV. I think the lines are clean, fresh, it's a little boxy, and this is a very large mid-size SUV. When you talk about that mid-size market, so crazy how much the size varies within that market. You have things like the Toyota Highlander on the smallest side, and then the things like the Chevy Traverse on the larger side. I think the Traverse is a really great car for families to consider if they're trying to decide between the mid-size market or the full-size market. So before you make the jump to Tahoe, Expedition, check out the Traverse because it's basically the largest you can go before you make that full-size jump. It's got good cargo space, it's got a good third row, a good second row, and I really like it for that. I actually have been driving this car for about a week now. As a mom of 4, I have 4 car seats in there, and I've just been kind of playing with how I would operate the vehicle. And I have to say, out of all the mid-size SUVs, if I had to stick to the mid-size category for 4 kids, I would probably buy the Chevy Traverse just because of the space, the car seat setup, and the functionality. Okay, I want to talk about pricing for a second. So this RS, this one has an MSRP of around $55,000, which is expensive. When compared to the rest of the midsize market, it's kind of in the middle on the slightly more expensive end. Something like this is going to be definitely more expensive than a Honda Pilot, but if you compare it to something like the Toyota Grand Highlander, the Grand Highlander starts about $5,000 higher than what the Traverse starts at. So whenever you're comparing like prices, you've really got to get down to the nitty gritty and kind of decide your trim level first, because you can't really compare what you get on the base Traverse to what you get on the mid-tier Honda Pilot, because the way that the manufacturers kind of rearrange these trim levels, you could kind of be getting the same equipment. So as far as trim levels I like on the Traverse, I haven't really gotten to see or play around with as many of them in person as I would like. I do think this RS trim though, it's kind of it. Like, it has so much good tech in here. And again, to stay in the mid-size market, this is a car that's going to give you all the tech, all the sporty features, all the luxe features, and still really good car seat capabilities. And one of the things you're paying for in the Traverse is space. This car is bigger than a Hyundai Palisade, a Kia Telluride, a Nissan Pathfinder. So not only are you getting an upgraded body style with really good tech, really good car seat setup, you're also getting a lot of space. All right, Chevy went from having some of my least favorite interiors to some of my most in one generation. All of their cars have so stepped up the game, especially compared to some of the Japanese and Korean models out there. I think for an American brand car, this is the best infotainment system and technology that you can get. Let's first look at the door panel. Look how fun this is in this RS trim level. Like this red scales, we have some contrast stitching right here. Side cubbies are pretty lame. Place to pop our trunk right here. Check out the infotainment system, guys. It's this beautiful curved display. It's huge. And I find that the actual infotainment system is just very user-friendly. I think everything is really crisp, really responsive. And I like that we have our climate control all pulled out here. It's not all in buttons. We do have some hot buttons and dials down there, but this stays at the bottom, which I think makes it really nice. And it has some really fun driving features like their Super Cruise. I love Super Cruise. I play with it on almost every Chevy press car I've had. And I think, truthfully, it's some of the best semi-autonomous driving you can get. It's incredible. I can't say enough about it. I love using it. Heated steering wheel available on this trim, wireless charger, USB, USB-C, and Chevy finally got better cup holders. I mean, that's a Stanley, you guys. That's a Stanley. I also love this little extra cubby because you know what that could be? Another cup holder. Amazing. Really nice size center console with a light in there. And then we have 2 more cup holders back there, either for the second row or if you're anything like me, it's for yesterday's iced coffee. Also, we have a nice pass-through underneath here, which is just another good place to, throw some phones, throw some snacks, things like that for the kids. And for the most part, I just feel really good about my driver's comfort. I've got good head clearance, good elbow clearance. The car feels very comfortable. I want to start breaking down the car seat setup though, so let's get to the second row. Okay, so the Chevy Traverse comes in a bench and captain seats. However, the bench seat is not available on most trim levels, which is a major bummer. I would love to see a bench available on all trims, but that's not what we're gonna have. And instead, we're gonna have the captain's chairs in this RS. And like I said, I have 4 car seats in here. So I'm gonna go through every single seat. I'm gonna go through with my third row access, the reasoning for this setup for my specific family. And we're gonna start with, this will be baby number 4 seat. This is the Nuna Pippa infant seat. It's installed with rigid latch and the load leg. Not a lot to break down here because of the load leg. I'm not able to utilize the car seat tilt, but let's just take a look at clearance. Infant seats historically take up a lot of room front to back. I have that seat set for myself at about 6 feet tall, and I have some good room. These seats are also adjustable, so I could move this back a little bit more, but I was trying to give my son in the third row a little bit more leg room. So if I move it back, we have a ton more room. So just to give you an idea of, depending on who's in that third row, you'll be able to either give your driver more or less room. But for the most part, I was impressed that with it moved all the way forward, I still had enough clearance to drive safely. Now on this side, I have my 1-year-old Fred riding, and I was very impressed with the second row legroom of this Chevy Traverse because this is an even flow Revolve slim car seat, and it is on a hefty recline. I mean, this kid is lounging back there. This seat set for myself, and I still had clearance. I mean, I'm lightly touching, but I'm not braced at all, which is excellent. And again, this is one of the most, this is one of the largest car seats front to back. I could adjust this recline a little bit to give me a little bit more room. So I actually chose to use this car seat right here for a very specific reason, and that is third row access. The Chevy Traverse is one of my favorite features in a car, and it's called the car seat friendly tilt. On the old model, they only had it on one side. For the 2024 model, they've added it to both, which is amazing. Now, this Even Flow Revolve is installed with latch, which latch is required to use the car seat tilt. But essentially, if I wanted to get my kids in the third row, what I would do before I put the baby in, I'm gonna rotate this, then I'm gonna go down here to this button, tilt and slide the whole seat. Look at that, you guys. Doesn't affect my installation at all. And now, not only do my kids have really good access to get back here, it's also the perfect place for me to come back here and help them buckle. The way I set it up was I put my older child on the opposite side of me because he's a little bit better at buckling himself. I only have to really pull the strap for him. But my daughter, she's only 3, so I'm basically having to buckle her entirely. This setup has been working amazing. We've been doing it all week. It's been seamless. It's been easy. And that car seat tilt is just amazing. Okay, so before we get to amenities in the second row, I just want to walk through the car seat hardware for a second. So in this captain's chairs options, I have lower anchors on both captain's chairs, no lower anchors in the third row, which sucks, but I have tether anchors in every single seat, which is amazing. You would not believe how many family cars don't include tether anchors in every seating position, and tether anchors are required for forward-facing car seats. So like if you were to take a Hyundai Palisade with captain's chairs, I couldn't drive it with my current car seat setup because they don't have enough tether anchors in the third row. It is bizarre. So good job, Chevy, for just putting one in every single seating position. Okay, let me get in here. I mean, oodles of room. Such a good car. I think also I love this for, of course, car seat age children, but if you have older kids as well, again, this is just a bigger SUV for its class, and you're gonna have a lot of nice space. We also have good amenities, okay? We have ceiling vents in both the second and the third row, heated seats on both of these outboard seats in the RS trim level, those cup holders, my own climate control, 2 USB-Cs, leather back pockets. I mean, so much natural light's getting let in. No sunshades, that's a missed op. And then of course these seats are on tracks. They can recline, and we also have the car seat tilt. Okay, let's talk about the third row a little bit. So there's 3 seats back here. The middle seat between 2 car seats, like it's not gonna happen, but for the most part, the middle seat of this Traverse is actually better and bigger and wider than other cars in its class. So that is nice. And look at that thing in the middle, you guys. That is a middle head restraint. This is the first year the Chevy Traverse will offer middle head restraints in both the second and the third row, which is a huge win for families. As far as my amenities are concerned, we've got cup holders, ceiling vents, and USB-Cs on both sides. It's also a pretty deep bench, so I have no car seat overhang that I'm worried about. A lot of the times when we're installing car seats in the third row, the bench is just very shallow and it can make installations a little bit difficult, but I mean, these car seats fit great back here. Chevy Traverse, they're claiming best-in-class trunk space, and I have to admit, it's a very nice size trunk. Here's a Mockingbird stroller, truly just thrown in, like seat attached and everything, and I was able to fit. Look at this. Really nice size trunk, you guys. It's wide, it's deep, this is with the third row up, and we have extra storage underneath here. And I love that this thing is on hinges, so it will just stay in place. But this is a great place to store like a travel potty, a change of clothes, some soccer equipment, and then hide Christmas presents, and then just close the floorboard as well. Trunk space is incredible. I mean, for the size of the car, it's great. Okay guys, so that's going to wrap up this 2024 Chevy Traverse tour. Hopefully this gives you a really good look at the car seat setup so you can see if it would work well for your family. This thing is going to be versatile, okay? I think it's going to be great for parents of older kids, younger kids, 1 kid, 4 kids, and anyone looking before you make the jump to the full-size market. Because with the full-size market, you get worse fuel economy, a lot more expensive of a vehicle. I would highly suggest checking out the Chevy Traverse. It's also going to save you a lot of time because the thing about the Traverse is like if you get in here and you think it's too small for your family, which no judgment because I think for everyday life, I'd probably want something bigger for my 4 kids. But if you think this is too small, you don't need to go look at any other midsize SUV. You can knock all of them off your list because this one is going to offer you the most cargo space. And I think that's a really helpful benchmark for families to keep in mind as they're car shopping. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll talk to you next time.